Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm excited to talk about my favorite mechanism or mechanisms in the Wingspan European Expansion. This is a game that I helped develop, I publish it, so this isn't a review, this is just me talking about my favorite things about it. Most of my favorite things really, so there's a bunch of new stuff in the expansion. There's new eggs, these purple eggs. You get a new box to keep your cards in and to display them on the table. You get some new bonus cards and some new goal tiles. But I'm not going to go into that stuff. I want to go into some of the new core mechanisms that are integrated into the bird cards, because you just shuffle all the bird cards together, and these European birds will show up along with the North American birds in the core game. So I'm just going to show you a few examples here of the things that I think are really, really clever that Elizabeth came up with. There are a ton more birds and mechanisms that I'm not going to show here, but you can discover them when you play the expansion. So the big new mechanism that Elizabeth created for the game are round end abilities. So these are abilities that activate at the end of each round. There are 4 rounds in the game. So these are the types of birds that if you get early, they're really exciting to play because they'll activate 4 times. And they kind of give you, some of them just give you abilities. Like this one says, reset the bird feeder. If you do, gain all invertebrates in the bird feeder after resetting. So just a way to get a bunch of bonus food at the end of each round. This one says, choose one other player for each action. I'll just read it. For each action cube on their grasslands, tuck one bird card from your hand behind this bird, then draw an equal number of bird cards. So you're looking for the number of action cubes. So it's a reason to pay attention to other players at the end of the round. So you're kind of choosing which player you want to activate that. And there are others that you kind of build up to. So here's one, the common sterling here. It says discard up to 5 food tokens from your supply. For each food token you discard, tuck one bird card from the deck behind this card. Tucked bird cards are points at the end of the game. So this is a reason, like during a round, that you might stock up on a bunch of food. You might get really good at making food during the round and stock up on it so that you can get 5 points at the end of the round for all that food that you stocked up. Food normally in Wingspan, the extra food isn't worth anything, so that gives you a reason to stock up on food. I love just the multiplicative effects of these cards. I love the little mini goals they give you, and there's just a lot of variety in them. I love these little end of round goals or end of round triggers, abilities on bird cards. Okay, so Elizabeth also integrated this new thing that lets you play a bird sideways. It says play this bird sideways so that it covers 2 grassland spaces. Pay the lower egg cost. So it lets you bump up your engine faster on your player map because you get to play the bird sideways to cover 2 spaces instead of just 1 space. There are a bunch of birds like this in the expansion. The Eastern Imperial Eagle has a cool ability. A bunch of cards have this as well. It's a predatory ability. So you can see normally this bird costs 3 rodents. But for each rodent in this bird's cost, you may pay 1 bird card from your hand instead. If you do, tuck the paid card behind this card. So if you have a bunch of cards in hand, if you're really good at generating cards, drawing cards, maybe you have some that you don't think you're actually going to play, you can spend them instead of rodents, and you can tuck them behind this card when you spend them to get points. So that's really, really cool. I love getting these cards in hand because they're a lot easier to play than going after a specific food, and you get points when you tuck those cards. But it's also a sacrifice. And the last example I'll give of one of my favorite mechanisms in the game is shown in this greater Flamingo. So it says, when activated, choose one other player. For each action cube on their wetlands, tuck 1 card from your hand behind this bird, then draw an equal number of cards. This is actually very similar to the card that I mentioned earlier, but again, it's giving you a reason to pay attention not just to other players, but also to those action cubes, where you or other players have placed their action cubes. There are other cards that pay attention to where you placed your action cubes as well. So I love that we're getting players to pay attention to different parts of the game that they didn't already pay attention to. Those are just a few examples of the new mechanisms in the game that I'm really, really excited about. I'm always excited when they come up in plays of Wingspan now. And I'm curious to hear what you think. What are your favorite new bird cards in the expansion? What are your new favorite mechanisms in the expansion? If you need to read more, I'll link below to show where you can learn more about the expansion or even buy it from us if you're interested in getting a copy. But overall, yeah, I'm really excited to hear what people think about the new mechanisms in the Wingspan European Expansion. Thanks for your thoughts, and I look forward to hearing your comments and questions below. Thanks.